2, basically,
Take 2.
of At the Buzzer podcast, episode 1, coming into Hawthorne Entertainment with some new stuff this year, 2024, new year, new us. Cannot wait. We're going to dive into the elephant in the room right away. Raptors, big trade.
Huge
trade, trading OG Anunoby on a contract year, which I'm not going to disagree with.
We agree with it, yeah.
We loved it. So essentially OG, Flynn, and Precious Achiuwa all went to the Knicks for Manuel Quickley and RJ Barrett.
And a second round pick.
So
I think we personally fleeced the Knicks with that trade.
Yeah.
Fleeced them. But they are 4-0 since the trade. Raps are 2-2. But
yeah,
we lost to the Lakers.
Slight sidetrack from the trade. Last night's officiating. We're going to be probably a little bit more biased as Raptor Canadian fans.
Yeah.
But I watched the fourth quarter last night, and 23 free throws in one single quarter, in my opinion, in basketball in general, is ridiculous.
It's a complete crap.
Insane.
That's technically 12 fouls if you you don't count 3-point attempt or and ones or anything like that. That's 12 fouls, right, for 5 starters. If one guy gets 12, whatever. It's just embarrassing. What was honestly more and you know what? The coach had a reaction.
This is completely BS. This is shame. Shame for the referees, shame for the league to allow this. 23 free throws for them. Respect for all stars and all that. But we have star players on our team as well.
But what I was actually more disappointed in was LeBron's reaction to it.
I feel like they fouled and we didn't.
But honestly, in previous week, LeBron was saying that the refs are not making enough calls, and he's complaining.
He's good, really good. Either the GOAT or the second best player, however you want to have your own opinion. But he's a crybaby when it comes down to him. You think the league revolves around him.
Yeah.
Then again, that's a biased Raptors fan saying it,
yeah.
But it's also the CEO of Hawthorne Entertainment saying it. So our opinion should matter eventually.
It's a tough one to swallow. But honestly, I cannot move it past that shitty loss. Call it a shitty loss. RJ's been balling. Quickly's been balling. And honestly, at first when I saw this trade, I was shocked because I thought Raptors were for sure going to get a first-round pick out of it.
I was surprised.
So the second-round pick is, great. But at the same time, last year when they're looking to shop OG, they're asking for multiple first-round picks and a player. So they were talking with Memphis. I think it was 2 first-round picks and Desmond Bane, who's almost playing at all-star level these past few years, especially now with John Morant going out and stuff like that. But I thought they should have locked up first-round pick. But the way RJ and Quickly have been playing, I'm really not going to complain about a second-round pick for them. You might have something to say about that.
No, I'm going to agree with you on that. Yeah. I'm a little upset to see my boy Malachi Flynn leave because
we love Flynn.
I just saw him play against the Hawks. Sometime in December.
That was a week before the trade, probably too.
Yeah,
hey?
I was like, "Yo, my boy, shout out." So I'm sad to see him leave, but I'm honestly extremely happy to see another Canadian back on the only Canadian NBA team ever. But I really wish that it was as much as I love OG and I'm happy to see him go. Do better things for him. I still think Pascal should be traded too.
Yeah,
I'm a little biased on that. I think he's had his hype with the Raptors as much as music community love him.
Yeah.
I think it's his time to go. I think he's really high with a trade deadline or trade points or whatever you want to say it. I think we could get a lot for him. I saw it's a rumor, I think just something on Instagram a couple days ago of us getting Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga.
Yeah, Jonathan Kuminga.
Kuminga for Pascal. Now, I thought that was a pretty fair deal. But
I wouldn't like that. The Raptors get the depth and obviously another Canadian in Andrew Wiggins. And Kuminga is a guy that when he gets his minutes, he's a great basketball player.
Yeah.
Actually, he's going to lose his minutes now. Draymond is reinstated in the league, actually. Maybe we can touch on that just a little bit later on.
I think we could. We should have time.
But I think what all this boiled down to, especially if we're going to talk about Pascal, is the money now. OG, given he's on contract year, and now Pascal this year as well. Raps, we're going to have to pay this guy a near max contract. And at the same time, Pascal would have wanted that too. And I think Pascal is more deserving of that money than OG.
I
And
would
I'm not
agree with
trying.
that.
And I'm
I
not
would-
trying to discredit
no.
OG and what he's done for Toronto.
Great player. He's done so much for the team and so much for
Yeah.
the community of Toronto.
And I mean,
But
like,
I would agree that in basketball terms and skill wise, Pascal deserves
Yeah.
the money a little more. I think
so
that's pretty fair.
it'll be interesting. But again, this trade was very much win-win. I mean, OG hasn't been putting up crazy points, but the Knicks are now 4-0
Yeah.
since the trade. They've beaten notable teams such as 76ers and Timberwolves.
Yeah, I
Timberwolves,
was
which are
surprised
top
that
in
they
the
beat
West.
Timberwolves. That was crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? Like OG's averaging 12 points a game, a steal, 5 rebounds, but he's being efficient.
He's
40
shooting 48 from the field. So I think he just hasn't found his like groove in the team as what he has Raptors. He's obviously upset that, you play for a team for 7 years and then you get traded kind of out of the blue, right? You're going to be a little shaken up. But in terms of playing wise, Quickly and Barrett have done a better job adapting to a new team than OG, Precious, and Flint.
And I think, and that's a good point too. I think that's because they've always been put in those situations, especially with the Knicks, right? Like Quickly's had games where he started, he's come off the bench. RJ's had games where he's hasn't found his groove, then has found his groove. And RJ and Quickly made the Knicks a better team, there's no doubt, and it left something good back there, I think, for sure. But now they can definitely kind of be their own player, fill their own shoes. I think if Quickly starts over Schroeder, which is what I would want, especially
I would 100% do that
out of this trade.
Easily.
And honestly, it'd be interesting to see Gary Trent starting to get more minutes now following this trade. I like that. He was originally a starter. He's going to be a free agent this year too, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But
so, do you think they should keep him, or kind of?
It depends on the contract size that he's asking for. Like because
he's good, but there's I didn't want to shake the camera there, just top table. But even the game that I went to go see against the Hawks and Trae Young dropped a 38 bomb and 40 bomb on us. Gary didn't really do too much. And I'm not hitting him for that. Like, dude could smoke me in a 1v1.
Yeah.
But he's been hit or miss the last couple of years. He was great when Kawhi was here, but same with Pascal. I mean, personally, I believe they've been on a little bit of a decline.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of either this is a great decision year for them. It's either now or never. Are we going to do this? Is he going to do this? I mean, you really need to know.
I don't think they'll re-sign him.
No. I mean, I'm happy if they do. I'm like, great, Gary Trent's back. He's my boy. But if they don't, I'm like, okay, that's great. It's also okay. Sad to see you go. But I know that we're building around Quickly. RJ, Scotty.
Definitely around Scotty.
Maybe Grady comes in there and we have some young guys to build up talent.
That's what I was just thinking too, especially if they don't re-sign Gary Trent. I think they're definitely going to work a lot on Grady's development.
I really hope so.
And Grady has not yet had a standout game as a Raptor. He's been sent to the G League multiple times and called up for a couple games. Like you saw him play against Atlanta.
Yeah, with a minute and a half left, I think he dropped 6 points.
So there you go.
I mean, you can't be featured in the Drake video and get sent out to G League right away. Right?
That's a good point. So I don't know. The Gary Trent things, it's all going to come down to money. See, the thing is like RJ Barrett, he's right now on like a 4-year, $107 million contract. And then you got Quickly, so on a 4-year, and he's getting $10.8 million per year on that as well. But he's going to be a free agent after this season, I believe, or next season. Yeah, 2024 to 2025 season, so after next year. So honestly, I think if they are going to lock up someone, definitely first it has to be Quickly. So like see if they can sign him to some sort of extension. Trade away Pascal, especially now. In recent news too, Jakob Poeltl, he's now out with the sprained ankle out indefinitely, and we're starting Thaddeus Young, which we were looking earlier. We were thinking, how good is this guy anymore?
He played 6 games, and this was a first game. He got 30 minutes.
Yeah, he got 30 minutes. He had 10 points. He was the worst, like point scoring wise, worst starter. But take it at like an 80, I guess, dropped a 40-point double-double on him last night. But take it in, they barely lost. And at the same time, if you trade away Pascal, you should be able to get like a decently competent center. You got to
get someone who can fill his shoes the game back immediately.
So it'll be tough. And we don't know the timeline.
Right? I think personally the Raps, they need guys to rely on. I think some games are a little shaky. Scotty's been the guy they can rely on, but you can't have that kid, leading the whole team.
So you're saying you need like just a big star. You need like a star.
Yes, we need a star. When Kawhi was there, Give Kawhi the ball. You want us to chip left within a year, right? He was the guy we relied on. I think if Pascal goes, we need. I don't know who we need. We just need someone that can. He's been in the league for years, knows what to do, knows how to lead a team, knows how to put the ball in the.
So you're saying more of a vet than necessarily like a full-on all-star type of like caliber.
I'm saying a vet and an all-star, just not someone new.
I don't know how much you'll get with that.
Like someone like KD. KD would help the Raps out as much.
Yeah, obviously, but
he would never come.
Half the Raptors organization would go to the Suns for Kevin Durant, so including the equipment staff. You'd probably have to trade Masai in that too. Whatever. I'm just teasing, but no, I think you make a good point with that. But what I'm excited for is the future, and that future is Scotty Barnes. And
God, of course.
And I'm not looking past that, and I will never. I don't think now for a couple of years, Scotty Barnes is going to be that guy. He's going to be an all-star.
Yep, he's got the dog in him.
I think he could be an all-star potentially this year or next year. Obviously, there's a fan voting thing that determines, all the starters and whatnot, and that plays like a 50-50-ish role with how the league determines who's all-stars. But Scotty is going to be their star, and he's proven that this year, right? For the first 10-some games, he's averaging 20-point plus double-double.
Well, yeah, without Freddie and Lowry, he just kind of had to step up on his own.
Yeah,
he was just out there with Pascal, OG. They, didn't really do too much.
I think Pascal makes
great. Scotty just took it in his own hands and did what he had to do.
I think Pascal being there also makes his job easier.
Yeah.
So that's something that the Raps need to look is like, if they can't get. They're obviously, so Scotty's playing at small forward or power forward. They're obviously going to need a forward in return for Pascal if they were to trade him.
Yep.
Because they've got the guards. You got Quickly now, right? You got Schroeder. So unless you're looking for a star point guard, which there aren't that many that are kind of in the market, I'd say right now. Got to find someone like that because Scotty's job is already tough enough, I think, right now.
Yeah.
But if you find someone to, keep that role easy and light for him, he's going to continue to flourish as a Raptor. In my opinion.
He'll be amazing.
And
he'll be the new star.
And I do think they'll keep him for a really long time. Maybe he'll go down as a Toronto legend. Who knows?
I would say
it depends.
He's got so much potential.
I do too. His ceiling is incredibly high, and I don't think he's anywhere close to it. But this year's been definitely a year of growth for him, and I'm excited for the Raptors. But speaking of future, speaking of, stars, I want to talk about, I think, specifically two teams and ask if they're really legitimate. These two teams are the leading two teams in the Western Division. We got the Timberwolves and Oklahoma City Thunder.
Crazy good teams right now.
Now, if we're disregarding the fact that they're 1-2, which I don't think we would have expected, looking this year, God, as a biased fan, I'm thinking Suns, Lakers, Warriors are going to be up there, right?
Yeah,
they got Chris Paul, all this stuff. Timberwolves and OKC, I'm saying they're for real. For me, I'm not seeing, and you might disagree with this, Timberwolves, I'm not seeing as a contender nearly as, I think they're a playoff team. Lock it in.
Here we go. We're going to get kicked out. A little bit.
Anyway, we'll just jump back in. We just got to Timberwolves and OKC.
Yeah.
Being for real, if they're for real or not.
They're so for real with 100%. I think Timberwolves definitely are a contending team. OKC 100%.
So you're thinking chip. These two teams can go to chip.
Yeah. No, I strongly believe that these two teams have the possibility.
See, I believe more in OKC only because of SGA's experience in the playoffs.
I'll agree with that. I will agree with that.
And that's my only reasoning. I'm not
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, Chet's been dominating.
I
thought he wouldn't.
If you would have asked me at the start of the year who would have done better, Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren, I would have said Wemby.
Me too.
Now looking at it, if Wemby wins Rookie of the Year, something's up with the league.
That
100%.
Yeah, Chet's actually betting odds, right? He's on the NBA's power ranking. He's number one. Yeah, so I don't know. I just kind of want to break down Timberwolves. Timberwolves are looking good. You got Ant, 26 points per game, averaging over a steal right now, doing great. Rudy Gobert is looking at another depoy right now. I think it's third. If he wins his third,
happen.
Because he's averaging over 2 blocks a game. And I've said in the past, that's kind of your threshold.
I'd say him or AD.
Yep, him or AD.
Yeah.
Well, even at one point, Wemby was low-key in the running for it, just because he was averaging, 3 blocks a game.
Bro, those are the same people who just kicked us out and they left their room.
Anyway, I don't know. And Rudy's also averaging
Yeah.
12 boards, so he's doing his job. And then you got Cat averaging 21 points per game. And honestly,
Finally, yep.
and
Yeah,
that's
I'm
a
happy
good
for
thing
him.
because, in all honesty, when they traded for Rudy, I said, no way this is working. No way you can have like 2 like. As much as I don't like to say it, I think Cat's definitely, in my opinion, an all-star level player.
Yeah,
Rudy,
100%.
I do not like, but he's an all-star-ish level center.
If he doesn't make the cut, he'd be just below the cut.
Yeah, correct. He's just not a big scorer,
His
but
name's-
whatever.
Yeah,
But
I
they're
agree.
just well-rounded. And the thing is, their losses this year have come from 76ers, Suns, Sacramento.
all really good potential contending
all good teams, right? My only problem with them is I think this offense, sure you have Mike Conley, whatever, relies on Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
He's never had injuries. Knock on wood, like not really had like injuries.
send a video.
He's had his controversials with, again, that's
Yeah.
political, and we're not talking
We're
about
talking about sports here.
Yeah, I want to be a Kardashian so bad right
It's
now. I'm
crazy.
just kidding.
Him and Zion, man. Figure it
Yeah,
out. Just
they're
dribble the
wild.
ball. Play your sport.
That draft class. It's just that draft class.
He was in that draft class too?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think
No
so.
freaking
Or was
way.
he might have been the year after. But that draft, you
Oh
got
my God.
Zion, who doesn't care, is
No.
gaining weight. John Morant, he's now out with shoulder injury,
Oh,
probably
yeah.
because he's shooting up a little too much. I don't. That's obviously
Yeah.
not the case right now, but he tore something. That draft class. Wow, now Anthony Edwards. So, I don't.
So
I just
the young guys got to get something done. But I think out of these two teams, kind of looking back and thinking about what we said here, I think OKC's the better team, just because of SGA's performance in playoffs and his knowledge about that. Whereas Ant really doesn't really know too much. Again, no injuries. I didn't really know about that. Didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
You just got to worry about the injuries
the games
for
are
both
a lot,
these teams either way,
The
right?
game's a lot harder in the playoffs, and I think SGA,
Yeah.
Josh Giddey, and Chet Holmgren are
God,
able
Josh
to do
Giddey.
something in the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think they are going to make a deeper run only simply because of their chemistry. I think is a lot better. I think, whereas the Timberwolves, I think maybe more individual.
Yep.
So based on what I've just seen from watching them, and maybe that's an unfair opinion to be statement to be saying. But again, like last year, Timberwolves lost 4-1 in series against Denver. Obviously, Denver won to win the chip, so I can't say too much. And Ant was averaging 30 points per game, but every other starter failed to put up more than 18 points a game. And that's starters. You in playoffs, you need at least, if you have your one star going for 30-some plus points a game, you need someone else going for at least 20-something to help
Guys
you out, right?
Guys to help out.
Yeah,
right?
unless
Exactly.
you're making
That's
a
how-
crazy defensive presence, which you'll definitely get out of Rudy Gobert, no doubt. But that's just Rudy Gobert, right? And then the year before that, they lost 4-2 against Grizzlies. And there's, Ant and Cat stepped up, and everyone else didn't. So it's going to be.
If OKC, let's say, if Chet gets injured and Minnesota,
I think they're screwed if that happens.
if they're 100% screwed, but I feel like they have a better chance to become a better team than if Minnesota loses Ant.
Yeah.
I think if you can kind of make sense.
Okay,
of that,
I can. Yeah.
I feel like OKC's got the better odds there, but who knows? We said some really controversial shit at the start of our podcast and even last year, so and we've been wrong on that multiple times. But
You never know.
That's just our opinion.
It could even come down to the bench. Could come down to a guy like Jalen Williams, right?
Yeah.
Or his brother, just these random guys that these they're not random
who
guys.
are finally getting their
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, they got these role
Yeah.
players that are really
I like it.
developing, and that's what I like about OKC is these role players are soon becoming stars. Whereas I don't see that nearly as much with the Timberwolves, but maybe that's because the tension's mainly on Ant, mainly on Cat, mainly on Rudy Gobert. So it'll be interesting. See, OKC, 23-11, they're doing great. And SJ's got a MVP caliber season.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm picking OKC over Timberwolves, but I do not want to discredit at all how good the Timberwolves have been. They've shocked me more than OKC did this year, actually.
I agree with that.
So, but if we're speaking about teams that are being really good,
I know who you're going to say
and
here.
we said some things about them. A reporter said some things about, especially James Harden, the past. The Clippers, are doing great, but I do want to mention the Raptors have been doing well, and the Knicks. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, we've talked about that, but Clippers
are
6-game
on
win
fire.
streak.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Kawhi Leonard this happy before. I've seen so many.
And he signed an
clips with him.
extension today, apparently. We don't know
Smiling.
for how much
Yep.
yet. But
extension for him. Westbrook, solid 6, man.
yeah,
Harden's going crazy. He's finally finding his groove. It was a rough start, but now he's averaging 17, PG with 23, and Kawhi the Koala with 24. So this team's really good. I think this is the superstar team that should be able to do something.
Yeah.
Unlike,
Agreed.
the Brooklyn Nets a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I think these guys are able to actually win a chip, and I'm really rooting for them because I want to see Kawhi win another one. Just for what he did for Toronto and Harden.
I definitely want Harden, and honestly Paul George too, right? Like, so it's looking.
What did PG say at the start there? He's on his.
He's on his bully shit
this year. Yeah.
And you know what? I was like, this guy's like, he's a comedian because like they were terrible to start. 0-6, I think, with Harden to start, and we ripped into that one.
Yeah, we made fun of him for sure. So
but honestly, good on them. I think Tyler's doing a great coaching job too.
Yep.
They had a big pickup in Daniel Tice. I'm not too sure statistically how well he's doing, but I know he's a solid player. Zubac is a great center to have too, who's not on a massive contract.
Yep.
This is definitely their year to win it. We didn't dive in too deep.
Do you think this is their only year? Like next year they'll be like
no, I don't. Unless a team like to make it out of the West, I think right now they're a lock.
This is their best shot.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm also not thinking about the possibilities of other West teams getting better. I don't say for example Suns. I don't think they can get much better than they are right now. Like the players can, their team can, but they can't bring in additions right now, like bigger additions because they're over the cap right now. Incredibly, Lakers are definitely over the cap. I think right now too, and the Lakers are not looking good. So I don't know. I think they're my clear cuts. I think they have multiple years. I think they have to worry about mainly the Nuggets, OKC, Timberwolves maybe. But the thing is, the experience between Kawhi, Harden, and Paul George is going over the top.
Chemistry is right there now.
And they also have the bench guys for it too. Like Terrence Mann off the bench. Actually, no, he starts. Sorry, you got Bones Highland coming off the bench, right? You're gonna have the Tice guy I was talking about. Like they have some good role players. You got Norman Powell too. Can't forget about him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Lethal 3-point dog. So
put him in the corner for sure.
They're looking great. But there's two teams now that I'm worried about. One of which is nowhere close to the playoff contention. And the only reason why I don't even worry is just I used to like their coach, Detroit Pistons. Now everyone's seen it.
Tanking for Caitlin Clark.
That's what I'm thinking too, man.
Like they need her. Holy shit! Pal.
You know what? Actually,
I feel so bad for Kate Cunningham though.
I do too, and this guy probably has to go through however much therapy to deal with their abysmal season, if that's what we want to call it. But honestly, I think if Caitlin Clark played, she could. I wouldn't know if she could just spot up and shoot a three. I think she could average 20 on this team, or like 15.
Yeah, no, I would agree with
she's
that.
lethal, but obviously this is mainly NBA talk. Sure, we'll dive in some other stuff whenever we choose to. But so they set an NBA record of 28 straight losses. They beat the Raptors, and honestly, it just had to be the
Raptors. We all knew it all season long, but then again, we were missing Precious, Malachi.
That was the day after
and OG, but we didn't have Barrett and quickly. So,
and that's exactly what
I'm honestly not too upset about that. I mean, whatever. They still have the worst.
Worst. Yeah, they're right now. They're locked in for the first pick right now. If they were to win the lottery, I just don't get it. But other than San Antonio and Pistons being bad, a team that I thought would be a little bit better this year, especially with some acquisitions throughout the year, the LA Lakers.
Yeah.
Currently now, they're in the 10th place in the West, so the last play-in spot. Sure, they beat the Raptors last night, but this might make LeBron haters a little bit happy. They're 4-6 last 10 games, right? They're only 6-13 on the road now. A guy who I wouldn't say I'd say disappointed in, but not surprised, is D'Angelo Russell. I think his production has been lower than it should be, and I think the Lakers should move on.
Yeah, I think his name speaks louder than his basketball talent.
Agreed.
Oh, D'Angelo Russell, Devo.
Everyone knows
the veins, right? Oh yeah, he's gross.
But those were Brooklyn Net days, right?
It's not happening. He's already been on the Lakers before, and then he came back. He's averaging 14. Okay, that's still pretty good. But when you've got LeBron and AD, who's having one of the best seasons of his career on the team, step up.
Yeah, and now you got AR, who's like all-star level.
AR 15 is gross. He's
top
gross
10.
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's top 10 in the all-star voting right now.
Yep.
That like sure he's a fan favorite. They've picked up Cam Reddish, right? You got good centers and Christian Wood, who doesn't, in my opinion, get enough minutes. You got Roy Hachimura, right? Like it just doesn't make much sense to me how they're not doing good. And maybe it's Darvin Ham problem. Like some people within the Lakers are disconnected from their coach, which obviously happens over time, especially through struggles, right? So they won the in-season tournament. Congratulations, LA Lakers.
Yeah.
Since then, you guys have sucked. They have
Terrible.
sucked. So how can they go back to that? That's something in sports. It's always like hard to, especially as fans.
Back?
Yeah,
How
especially as fans, we can't understand that.
No.
And especially
we'll never understand that, unfortunately.
Especially if you're saying, if the media is like, oh, it's a coach. Oh, there's disconnect from players to coach. They've made it work with Darvin Ham in the past.
It's not any reason to do with the coach. I think they're just having, just a bad couple games. Like LeBron's, he's still gross, but he's getting old. AD, like, it's LeBron, AD, pass to AR, pass to D'Lo. Yeah. That's it. Nobody else. You give to those four. I think those four are like the highlight of the team in the change room. There's no actual team. It's those guys and plus whoever fifth man and sixth man they need from the bench when those guys are tired.
Well, I definitely think what makes it harder too is LeBron's 39 now, I think.
Oh yeah.
And AD in the past has had so many injuries. I think Darvin's probably worried about the minutes. I don't pay too much attention to minute stats unless it's bench players.
I think Braun got 35 minutes last night.
Yeah, Braun's getting 35 minutes, so that's amazing for him.
Crazy.
But at the start of the year, I think they're definitely worried about that. But the thing is, they're doing better when they're more worried about that than now, where I think because they're like, oh my God, we're 10th, we're about to miss play-in. They're stressing, and so I don't want these guys. If these guys were to get overplayed, it's not going to be a good look. Well, especially if AD goes down. Knock on wood.
Did you ever think that at the end of LeBron's career, he would be on an all-star team winning everything? No, he's like MJ and the Wizards kind of thing, right? I don't want to compare him to that.
I think
LeBron's not bad. Don't come for me, but
I think he's going to be better at the end of his career than like how MJ went to like Wizards.
Obviously, yes, but he won't finish his career off being like prime LeBron.
Yeah, no, correct.
Yeah, he'll be kind of diminishing, and this acceptance, you just got to see it and like just go through it. I think he'll stay there for Bronny. Maybe even switch teams for Bronny. Who knows?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Lakers have to tank. Well, actually, Bronny should.
Maybe they're tanking me on purpose for Bronny.
Bronny shouldn't be. He won't. I don't think he'll be a first-round pick, and that might be. He's not that good. And obviously he's coming back from this. What he had cardiac arrest or something like that. Right?
Yeah, I don't think that was the term for it, but
he's playing now, which is good. Good to see him at USC.
Yep.
But yeah, he's nowhere close to first-round pick, so I don't think they'll have to tank. But I do just have to say credit to LeBron. You're 39. This guy's still putting up 25-plus points a game right now. I think that's probably around what he's averaging, if not more.
Give that guy a medal, man. He deserves it.
But, yeah, I think their biggest problem is point guard position, D'Lo. Move on from him. Trade if you can. DeJounte Murray's apparently on the trading block a little bit.
Yep. Donovan Mitchell, I heard, is on the trading block.
Oh, where do you see that news from?
Instagram videos watching this. There's rumors that.
Please tell me it was a credible source.
I don't know. Some dude, like, I don't know. You just got, those channels where you see, like, some guy talking about, like, trade deadlines or something?
Yeah.
I just saw it. So he was rumors that he's going to go from Cavs to probably the Heat is kind of the question because Jimmy Butler has interest to see him.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate that is, but
actually the Heat are in a crazy spot right now, I think, too. But I don't know. We'll see. They're over the cap, so I don't know what they can really do flexibility financially, like wise. But they need to pick it up. Definitely shocked that they're actually in 10th. I thought they'd be, top play-in, if not kind of middle of the pack for playoffs. But you know what? They'll turn it around. It's LeBron, but LeBron has missed the playoffs with the Lakers before. But that was with young Kyle Kuzma, right? Like that was
young Kuz.
That was
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Jesus, Julius Randle was on that team, I think, too, at that point.
He was, yeah. When's Lonzo coming back, actually? Oh, no.
Oh, boy. TV turned off. I just noticed that.
How long has that been off for?
Doesn't matter.
Should probably been maybe almost half hour.
Yeah, I think this is done zoning. I think this is telling us to be done.
Yeah, I think
Personally,
it's time to
we've
stop
covered
yapping.
we've covered good things.
Covered a lot.
But at the end of the day, Lakers got to pick up. But there's some talent, definitely in OKC and the Timberwolves. We love the trade for the Raptors. Good on them. But anyway, this was our first episode of At the Buzzer. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
If you guys love basketball, keep coming back here.
Check out the Instagram. Check out the TikTok. We got that shit bumping now.
It'll be everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
so
gonna be
we're
awesome.
putting Hawthorne on the map.
Let's go. Hawthorne
Yeah.
2024, baby, taking over.
Thanks for tuning in. We're running the shit.